What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I'm here to tell you that if you want a good security Digimon, you want to put it all on black. We're talking about a couple of black Digimon today, ladies and gentlemen, and it includes, I feel extremely confident saying this, the best security Digimon that we've seen so far today. Nice! The translation comes from Digi-Destined Dudes, dude spelled D-O-O-D-S, over on Twitter, at DDDTCG. And a shout out to DigimonCard.dev for the BlackWargreymon tidied up image translation, etc. So we're going to start off today having a little bit of a look at Shademon. Now, Shademon's kind of a weird Digimon that I was entirely unaware even existed. And we got a level 4 here, which is a 6 cost to play normally, which incidentally for a level 4 is high. We don't usually pay 6 to play level 4s. It's not unheard of, but it's pretty high. We've got a 2 cost to Digivolve, which is absolutely standard for a level 4, which is nice. And we've got 5,000 power. 5,000 power for a level 4 is fine. But bearing in mind you are a 6 cost, so 6 cost 5,000 power is still kind of low. Now, I said you are a security Digimon, and you are a security Digimon. That is to say, you have got the standard security skill, whereby at the end of the battle, you may play this card without paying its cost. Which is nice. The thing is, we've seen a whole bunch of security Digimon so far. And these are ones that have come out of security cards, you just get to play them. That's all we've seen from security Digimon so far. You play them for free if they come out of security cards. But up till now, they've all been vanilla Digimon with pretty bad stats. And my problem here is very simply that if you don't get it in your security, it's just a vanilla Digimon with bad stats. And do you really want to take that risk? Like, you run the risk whereby if it's not in your security, you literally just have a bad vanilla Digimon. No, quite frankly. But that's not where we are with Shademon, and that's why I love Shademon. Because Shademon's also got Blocker. Blocker, remember, is that skill whereby you may rest the Digimon on your opponent's turn to direct one of their attacks towards you. Maybe they're trying to attack the security, maybe they're trying to attack one of your resting Digimon that you are not ready to see go down. That's alright, ladies and gentlemen. You just rest this, and the attack gets directed over here. And now your slightly higher power is actually quite nice. It's still not efficient, 6 cost 5,000 power, but you're a 5,000 power blocker, which, you know, you'll be able to block level 3s and 4s. It's not a great blocker. The other thing is, of course, and this is why this becomes such a good card, because if it's not in your security, let's pretend it's not in your security, you just draw it into your hand like normal. Well, the 6 cost to play normally is exorbitantly high, so we're not going to hardcast it. We're going to Digivolve. So if we ignore the play cost and we ignore the security skill, what we end up with is a 2 cost to Digivolve 5,000 power blocker. And that ain't bad. Now, don't get me wrong, right? We're in black, and black is the blocking type. Like, if you're looking for a colour and you want to be tripping blockers, black is definitely the colour you want to go for. Blocking is kind of what they do. So we could compare this to the level 4 Guardremon, for instance. And if we put the two of these side by side, what we end up with is Guardremon is cheaper and has more power. So if you just want a blocker, Guardremon's better. But the thing to remember is this can be a security Digimon. So now, either I am a slightly worse Guardremon, but I'm still a 2 cost to Digivolve, and I'm still a blocker, which are the two most important things, or I'm a security Digimon. That's why I love this. Now, incidentally, it does have the same thing as Guardremon, which is to say it's not allowed to attack, but we've seen this on plenty of blockers before. Even going back to the very first blockers we ever saw, we had things like Grizzlymon that could attack, but you had to pay 2 memory in order to attack, so you never actually would. So I know the stats aren't great here, and I understand the stats aren't great, and that's fine. But the thing is, You're a 2-cost to Digivolve, you've got Blocker, and you've got Security. Those 3 things together make me put this as a between 4 and 5 Wassy card. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I'd play this over Guardiamon any day. Because the fact of the matter is, I'm going to be Digivolving into it. Which means if I put them side by side, I'm giving up 2,000 power to have a chance, especially if I'm playing a 4-off, to play it for free. And the thing is, I'm not just playing a Digimon for free, I'm playing a Blocker for free. And Blockers stop your opponent winning the game. So yeah, I call this the best security Digimon we've seen so far, and incidentally, I don't just think it's the best, I think it's head and shoulders miles better than any others we've seen. But I would even put this side by side with something like Guardiamon and just be like, yeah, this is better. But there's also a BlackWargreymon that we need to have a little bit of a chat about, and this one is fun. Now, in terms of cost, it's an 11 cost to play normally, which is standard. 4 cost to Digivolve, which is actually slightly more than usual, which sucks because we're rarely going to hardcast it. We are mostly going to just be Digivolving, so the extra Digivolution cost here is a bit sad. But you got 12,000 power, which is slightly higher than usual. But what we've got here is 2 skills, Security Attack +1, and Reboot. And now, even though I'm paying slightly more to play it normally, I'm in. I am absolutely in. Because you see, this extra power, the 12,000 power, that becomes absolutely huge. Because the average level 6 has 11,000 power. And if I've got Security Attack +1, I am attacking multiple security cards. So what I really don't want to happen is I really don't want to be deleted when I attack the first security. Now, 11,000 power will protect me against level 3s, 4s and 5s, but now the only Digimon that can delete me from the security are either above average level 6s or level 7s, of which there are unlikely to be many in my opponent's deck. Which means that the majority of the time, I can have a pretty strong expectation that I am going to be able to attack the security and survive. And then attack the security again and survive. And generally speaking, when I've got a really annoying Digimon on the field, what my opponent's going to want to do is take it out while it's suspended. Now, they don't really want to do that. They'd rather put their resources elsewhere. But one of the downsides of attacking in Digimon is that in order to attack, you need to suspend your Digimon, and when you're suspended, your opponent is able to attack and take you out. Well, now, admittedly, you do actually have slightly higher than average power for a level 6, so your opponent is going to have to find something decent to take you out with, but secondly, you've got Reboot, which means you are going to unsuspend during your opponent's unsuspend phase, which means there just aren't going to be any turns for your opponent to attack you. There aren't going to be any times where your opponent is going to be able to attack you unless they're playing like green and use one of their billion tricks to suspend you. Or they find something like a Gaia Force, just a card that can take you out. And to be fair, red decks are playing Gaia Force. But it's not as easy as just attacking you when you're resting. But we need to look at this all together. Because they can't attack you while you're resting or suspended, because you're not going to be suspended. And you've got Security Attack +1, and you've got above average power, so you're likely to survive the security attack. And you've got a Digimon which is super difficult to take down, unlikely to go down from security, not able to be attacked by your opponent's Digimon. And your opponent is going to have something that can attack unsuspended Digimon. Or something along those lines, or they're out. Now, along these lines, BlackWargreymon is going to be a really good counter to this, because Digimon with Blitz can attack unsuspended Digimon, and one of those is the new Omnimon that has 14,000 power, so certainly the combination of BlackWargreymon and the new Omnimon here will be able to Digivolve up, and then take out your suspended Digimon, unsuspended, and that is going to be a very good thing for them. But there aren't that many decks that are going to be able to do this. Some decks will, and that's going to be sad for you. But there are going to be a whole bunch of decks which just cannot rest or take this out when it's unsuspended. which means that they're going to have to hope it goes down from the security, which it's really unlikely to do. Yeah, I love this BlackWargreymon. Now, it's got reboot and extra security attack. It is important to note that any Black Digimon can have reboot if you Digivolve it from Toyagamon, and a lot of people are going to want to Digivolve from Toyagamon because it gives you reboot, and reboot's really good. But you're not always going to have the Toyagamon, and you're not always going to be able to find it, and you're going to need to Digivolve up, especially early in the game, from whatever you've got. So it's not quite that easy. Now, if you do Digivolve up from there, you could, for instance, use the starter deck BlackWargreymon, which has security attack +1 and will also have reboot, as well as a really nice Digiburst skill that gets to lower one of your opponent's Digimon by 4,000 power for the turn. So you could go along those lines. Or the promo Diaboromon, which has got security attack +1 for each Diaboromon you have, but it's at least 1 because it's a Diaboromon itself, which is interesting. That does only have 11,000 power though, so it's not quite so hot. So there are other options here, and that is quite important, but I don't particularly care, because I really like this one. You could go BlackWargreymon or Diaboromon with Toyagamon, although Diaboromon could have more security attack but doesn't have 12,000 power, and maybe Toyagamon BlackWargreymon is a better option here, but this doesn't force you to have to evolve from a particular Digimon, and that makes me pretty gosh darn happy. I'm giving it between 4 and 5 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I love this card. The only thing that gives me any pause for thought whatsoever is the fact that this is something we can replicate at the moment, and it's not crushing currently over in Japan, but this just seems like such a good combo. The reboot, the extra security attack, and the above average power. It seems almost too good to be true, quite frankly. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassie Plays.